Hello friends. Have a good time. We are at your service with night mail. Apparently, we should prepare ourselves for hellish days. Prepare in occupied Palestine. Look at the atmosphere of Iran. How is the situation? They are annoying, aren't they? Statistics that we all have mastered in the field of economics. A space that we have mastered in the area of peace of society. One of the simplest things, you see that there is a wave in Iran, and the atmosphere is falling apart. They are using the most useless things to destroy the country. In such a situation, a statement was published by the former head of the Zionist regime's military intelligence agency, which is astonishing. I want to read a part of it to you from the text. Just say one sentence at the beginning. It might be interesting for you. He says that, because they want to hit and destroy Israel with precision missiles, do not think. Israel is heading towards an internal crisis, which will destroy Israel itself. We want to read a report. Let's go and read the report. Just let me tell you something in parentheses. Friends, there is a very important issue. I brought it to your attention on the pretext of one of the reports. There is something called perceptual and cognitive war. Perceptual and cognitive war is called the mother of all wars. You fight a military battle to defeat the other side. This is not the case in the perceptual and cognitive war. You use war, you use economy, you use politics, you use culture and sports. You use media to change the perception. If the perception changes, you don't need to conquer the land anymore. If a part of its society joins you, you don't need to conquer a land anymore. If, like you, he thinks that you no longer need to conquer the land, because it is already in your will. Do you know where my point is? A month ago, we were saying, sir, this Israel is in a crisis, it doesn't do media. 2 months ago, we came in front of the camera. I was saying that, sir, this is in crisis. Someone explain. Tell me, where is the Mossad? Why can't Mossad solve it? 3 months ago we said, sir, this is in crisis. Where is Shabak in the story? Someone come and explain. Don't you have the information service that you say operates in Tehran? So why can't you do anything wrong? So there is a problem somewhere in the story. If some people looked, they would say, or the psychological operation of these words that they say, or, for example, propaganda is not something based on the reality of occupied Palestine. It is the occupied Palestine that we are looking at, calm. For example, the account, Israel in Farsi, you look at it. You are writing about the Iranian cheetah and the death of the Iranian cheetah. So this is apparently calm. Look, what I want to say is this. Forget all that I said for a moment. Think about this sentence that I say. In the perceptive and cognitive war, I do something that my enemy understands the issues like me. Now my question to you is this. Former head of the military intelligence service of the Zionist regime, who comes back and says, we don't need the Iranians' precision missiles to destroy us and we are being destroyed. Is his understanding of the issue based on Mr. Khamenei's understanding or not? He is understanding the issue exactly like Mr. Khamenei. He is analyzing Palestinian issues exactly like Mr. Khamenei. Among the experts of the occupied Palestinian space, and the experts who have a very detailed opinion about the Zionist regime, I saw only 1 or 2 people who understand the Zionist regime better than the Zionists themselves. One of them is Said Nasrallah, Secretary General of the Lebanese Resistance. The Israelis are now saying the same things. Now they are talking like Mr. Khamenei. Sir, how did you come to this analysis? How come they all laughed when we told them, and said, look, what are they saying about the Zionist regime? No, these are fact-based. Some things happened. In the perceptual and cognitive war, many of us were forced into the story of the Jina project. They spent $800 million in a few days to destroy our country. That our understanding changes from principles. Our understanding does not change. I don't care about these ridiculous games. I am Iran. I have been here for 1,000 years. I have a long-term plan. I have a long-term plan. My plan is under the table. When, in the past 15 years, you just understand how the geography of the region has become. In 10 years, when we move forward, you will understand something that will be surprising for you. It will be a shocker. This is how I defined my plans. Mr. Khamenei, who is coming, is bringing up the second step of the revolution. He has not brought up a part of the story at all. It is part of the things that are not addressed to public opinion. It is related to some people in some places within the government. The points that are defined as pillars, within the sovereignty of Iran. The look, is long-term, but the discussion is here. The understanding of this side has not changed towards the issues, it is advancing its own plan. On the other side of his perceptual field, it has changed in relation to the facts that we are saying. Based on us, and our look, he is understanding the issues. Why and what made him hallucinate? No, the realities of the field led him to this direction. Are there people behind the facts of the field? Not necessarily. We looked. Our analysis was like this. And now they are forced to admit it. Let's go read the report. In this report, which is quoted from the comments of this person in a conversation he had with Channel 12 of the Zionist regime, it is pointed out that the Israelis feel that the agreement between them and the government has been violated. They feel that they sacrificed their loved ones and gave their lives, but Israel is headed for a bad place. Let me tell you something strange. They didn't say it in the media until now. I think it was mentioned in the media last night. In the last 30 days, the Zionist regime has lost 45 of its forces due to the attacks of the Palestinians. Very much, 45 killed. I don't know they're wounded at all, and I didn't see anywhere they said it in the exact statistics. So the stories are so scary that they are censoring it. Now the protests that they have among themselves are on the other side. Let's go read the report. Maybe you will join me. He says that, referring to the great impact of Palestinian martyrdom operations on the awareness of the occupying regime and the settlers, he said, the Palestinian motivation to carry out the but here there are Palestinian resistance forces of another type. Operation has always existed. After their provocative comments on social networks, and despite the large number of weapons and financial resources in the field, they get up in the morning, and in many cases are not caught until after the fights, and that's too late. He has not said one thing and he will never say one thing. Do you know what it is? Aren't you going to Iran with thugs on Instagram? They find thugs in Iran and they go and do kidnapping operations. Don't you say these things? You say, you did these things. Why can't you collect this work in occupied Palestine? See, it's scarier than you facing a crisis. It is that the crisis is ongoing and you have no way out of it. They have no way around this and it will break their bones. This will eventually crush them. Let's go and read the rest of the report together. He says that there is no magic solution for Palestinian operations. Serious security problems for internal security are not visible on our monitors in Israel. The officers and officials of the Zionist regime must answer how they deal with this reality. That Israel's power of deterrence has been damaged. They have their power of deterrence damaged. How do you understand this truth? How do they deal with it? Now, why are you hurt? These are a series of events happening in this fake country, which is part of their infrastructure. A series of hacking events is happening. A series of Palestinian events. A series of events between themselves. A series of events have no explanation at all. This last part that I told you, the media that publishes it there, if it is a user on Twitter, if it is on Instagram, wherever it is, after a few years they will force him to delete the content. Now what is this story? These are incidents that he cannot solve. Now, he may be able to identify, for example, who are behind it, but he cannot solve it. What does he say? He says that we had a deterrent power. Completely questioned. Why does no one do anything for him? If someone is found sitting, he will do something. In this one more point, very interesting. The Secretary General of the Lebanese Resistance recently made some comments about us. One of the words that the General Secretary of the Resistance raised was wonderful. Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah said one sentence, it was wonderful. He said, I know Haifa port more than Beirut port, which is related to us. The reason is that Haifa port is my project, but Beirut port has nothing to do with me. It's very strange. But he is really telling the truth. That is, the dominance that the Secretary General of the Lebanese Resistance, and his forces, especially his Rashtan unit, dominate occupied Palestine. It is more than the dominance that the Zionists have over their information. As if they are walking in their streets every morning, talking to them every morning, giving them analysis, taking analysis from them. The nobles are very precise, either in terms of information, politically, or militarily. And to say this in parentheses, it is considered our weakness in some ways. In general, all the children of the resistance know their enemy much more accurately than they know themselves. That means, for example, he can give hours of analysis about his enemy. But there is a weakness in his own society. Think about this. Think about what I said, all of you. There is a point in this. I have to skip it for now, because this report is more important. Let's go read this report. He says, the Secretary General of the Lebanese Resistance recently spoke about us and said that we are increasing our strength. We strengthen our weapons, so that we can hit our enemy. Then this person emphasizes, he says, of course, the fact is that they don't need to develop precision missiles to hit us. Because we are collapsing from the inside. It's not just what he says. The rest of them are saying the same thing. Their former prime minister said this, their various political figures said this, and of course, the leader of Iran also said this before. They are saying his words. Their understanding of the problem is aligned with the understanding of the leader of Iran. How? Well, the facts have led them to this direction. Let's go and read the rest of the report for you. In the continuation of the report, he said that, currently, we have people in the cabinet who instead of handling, they chant about Iran and Lebanon's resistance to differences, and encourage them, in addition to the danger of Palestinian operations, which we must stop, there is also the fire is lit here. They are both involved with the Palestinians, and they are involved with themselves. A strange situation. Let me tell you one thing. Now, this is not related to this issue, but, well, this is their strong point. Honestly, it is their strength. Look, he has a fight with a Palestinian, right? He's fighting with himself too, right? There is also a dispute with the suspicious events inside the occupied Palestine. Is this true? He has no quarrel with his own celebrity. At all. Celebrity has no weight in this case. At all. His qualification has no value for Pashizi society. It is not in the equation, sir. Come play your movie, or play your music, or play sports. If you are the right person, comment, we respect you. If not, you have no weight at all in this story. See, he is worried about everything, except his own celebrity. In Iran, if something happens now, God forbid an accident happens, you, first of all, have to worry about the celebrities. Someone should take care of the pioneer of our cinema, Mr. Parviz Paristawi. His page exploded the community. Leave the BBC and VOA alone. Get this under control. They have a strong point, at the peak, because now they are at the peak of misery and adversity, I am saying. This is a strong point, and that is that their celebrities cannot be blamed for their society. Why? We should analyze this society and see what its story is like. That their voice is not very loud and the atmosphere is seen differently. Let us read the continuation of it together. He said that, in continuation of this report published by Al-Mayadeen. He said, before this person and this Zionist official said this, the Hebrew newspaper Haaretz, he also mentioned the same about the speech of the Secretary General of the Lebanese Resistance. And he said, the comments of the Secretary General of the Lebanese Resistance. It is because he saw the internal weakness of the Zionist regime. And because of the widespread legal and political crisis that has appeared. Now they are starting to threaten us. He says one more thing, very interesting. He says that these issues are raised by the authorities of the Zionist regime and their media, while some military officials, in the pursuit of increasing the power of the Palestinians, in carrying out lethal operations to prevent the attacks of the Israeli army, doubts in Israel's military and security institutions regarding its ability to deal with internal and external tensions are increasing. He says, considering the events that happened, There is a serious question. Can the Israeli army do something now? Regarding the threats that exist, will there be a way forward? Can he make a move? He says that the Chief of General Staff of the Zionist Army. In this regard, he said that Palestinian attacks and recent events, it has caused extensive damage to energy, and the investigation about them is ongoing in the Central Command of the region. Israel is not facing an intifada, but it is facing more difficult events. And this is a big challenge, because right now we are talking about operations that, the number of people with firearms, implemented, and there are many other people who want to join these operations. He says, there are many others who would like to do this, but they have not yet joined. Sir, what we are seeing from occupied Palestine is what we are witnessing is disaster after disaster. This is what they have. Disaster after disaster, and we have, I say, well, apparently it is more involved with the Zionists themselves. So what is he saying? This is referring to the same number of dead people as I told you. 45 people in 30 days who had not said anything about it. Recently, a part of it has been in the media. This is pointing to it. There is a hidden statistic. Well, that hidden statistic that cannot be told to make people afraid. It has no ability to it. These officials, who were stressed, and are being hit on the head, admit it, to understand what happened, are upset. I will not continue. I will tell you one thing. 150 days ago when I was talking to you, I told you, friends, now things are happening inside the country, that if the enemy wanted to start a war against us, he should have used this number of missiles to destroy this number of ambulances. He should have used this number of missiles to destroy this number of ambulances. This number of missiles should have been used. This number would have destroyed the bank. This number of rockets should have been used to destroy the fire truck. He took the damage of a war from us. Remember I said this. It is happening right now in occupied Palestine. This is just happening from the Palestinians. Settlers will be added to the game soon. And this skirt will take other enemies. These are not slogans. These are not bluffs. These are not illusions. Look, now the Zionists are saying our words. Be a little patient. The perception of our enemies is based on what we say. They are doomed to change or not change. We will change it. This is a must in the perceptive and cognitive war that has been launched against us in the region. Be patient. Things will happen in the region that will surprise many. Dear friends, I am very sincere. I have a lot of devotion. Have a good time.